Hello everyone, my name is Charles and this is the Hawaii Volcano Watch Report for December 2020. To commence with, I would like to apologize for not posting a watch report for November. If you have been watching my Hawaii Healthcare Adventure vlog, then you know that I've been at home recuperating from the surgery. I am healing slowly, but still migrating in a positive direction in my recovery. However, in my absence, it appears that the volcanoes have been grumbling a little bit. So in this 2020 year-end edition of the Watch Report, I will keep with the usual format. We will look at Mauna Loa, then Kilauea, including the East Rift Zone, and then wrap it up with a closer look at the Halema'uma'u Crater Lake. First up is Mauna Loa. On Thursday, December 10th, the USGS reported that seismometers registered around 165 earthquakes below a magnitude of 2.5 on Mauna Loa during the past week. The majority of them were beneath the summit and upper flanks of the volcano. Most of these quakes were at depths less than 8 kilometers or 5 miles below sea level. Starting on December 4th, there was an increase in earthquake activity on Mauna Loa's northwest flank. This activity included a 4.1 magnitude quake and clusters of small quakes, which occurred close in time and location. Since then, HVO has recorded over 150 earthquakes in that area. These earthquakes have ranged in depths of 1 to 9 kilometers or 1 to 6 miles below the volcano's surface. They seem to have all occurred in an area over less than 4 kilometers and extending approximately 6 kilometers north. Simultaneously, the bulk of the seismicity has been earthquakes lower than magnitude 2.0 and located deeper than 4 kilometers or 2 miles beneath the surface. It is important to note that elevated seismicity was still continuing in this region when the USGS posted their report. However, events were occurring less frequently within the last 48 hours preceding the USGS report. It is not unprecedented to see the clustering of shallow earthquakes in this area on Mauna Loa. This type of activity has been witnessed many times in this area. The 4 most recent events are in August 2015, July 2016, April 2017, and October 2018. However, I cannot help but wonder if this area could represent something significant about the volcano's magma plumbing system. Wrapping up the data on Mauna Loa, the GPS measurements continue to show slow summit inflation, which continues to signal consistent magma supply to the shallow storage reservoir. Measurements of gas concentrations and temperatures also remain stable, while the webcam views reveal no landscape changes. Even though there are no signs of an imminent eruption of Mauna Loa, it does seem to be exhibiting indications of some magmatic movement. Moving on, Mauna Loa isn't the only volcano that has been grumbling as of late. Kilauea appears it is having some growing pains of its own. So let's now go over and take a look at that there volcano. USGS reported on December 3rd that there were over 80 earthquakes recorded on the summit of Kilauea between November 29th and the 30th. These quakes occurred about 6.5 kilometers or 4 miles southwest of Volcano Hawaii. This activity started shortly after 11 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time on November 29th and continued for around 11 hours. The quakes occurred in a tight cluster under Kilauea caldera, about 2 kilometers or 1 mile wide at a depth of 1 to 3 kilometers or 1 to 2 miles below the surface. On December 2nd, just after midnight Hawaii Standard Time, seismic activity increased under Kilauea's summit once again. 4 hours later, this activity ramped up to an average rate of 10 to 12 earthquakes per hour. Once again, these quakes occurred in clusters under the Kilauea caldera, but this time included the upper East Rift Zone. The detected quake activity was at a depth of about 1 to 4 kilometers or 1 to 3 miles below the surface. The largest of these quakes was a 3.0, while the bulk of the activity was less than magnitude 1. This quake activity did not pose any hazard from ground shaking, with the felt events reported as just a weak shaking. However, during the evening of December 2nd, the tilt meters at the Kilauea summit underwent a transient deformation episode. During just a few short hours, they recorded a notable tilt signal of 10 to 14 microradians. Since this event concluded, the tilt meters have returned to recording tilt rates similar to recent months, while other data streams for Kilauea, such as gas measurements and imagery, do not indicate any further increase in additional activity. Additionally, USGS states the clustering of shallow earthquakes in this region is not unprecedented following the end of the Kilauea's 2018 Lower East Rift Zone eruption, and does not mean an eruption is imminent. HVO has recorded shallow earthquakes for many decades in this area across multiple eruptive cycles at Kilauea. This activity's interpretation is the continuation of supplied magma to the Kilauea Volcano shallow storage system and is within the expected behavior of an active volcanic system. By December 3rd, the ground deformation and seismic activity decreased and returned to the comparable background level, with other monitoring data remaining stable. Now, if you were to ask me what my opinion is on all this recent activity, I would have to summarize it like this. After I have looked at all the data available to me, then add what I have learned about the Kilauea volcano, this recent episode of heightened activity could indicate the Kilauea volcano was taking a deep breath. I would also say this is a clear signal that a large volume of magma was potentially delivered to the shallow storage system. I would even say that this is a natural event to be observed as the shallow magma chamber recharges. Well, that takes care of the Kilauea volcano portion of the report. Now we will move on and take a closer look at the Halemauma'u Crater Lake. Now, taking a closer look at the crater lake, this first image, taken from the caldera's western rim, shows the lake exhibiting its dynamic range of colors from a deep blue-green to a dark brown, then a rusty tan. This photo was taken on November 13th and is a close-up of the crater lake. The color once again is a gradient between the blue-green and the tan. It is believed the greenish hues indicate zones of hot water influx into the lake. Now, I want to show you this time-lapse video of the lake taken on December 1st. The sequence represents the passage of about 3.5 hours of activity in the water of the lake. There appear to be several influx zones of groundwater entering the lake around the margins. This water dynamic seems to be the governing mechanics behind the shifting zones of color in the lake water. This next image was recorded by the webcam, which acts as our constant sentinel of the crater lake. It snapped a shot on December 2nd at 6 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time of rock slides impacting the lake surface, promptly following the 3.1 magnitude earthquake. The impact areas are the regions indicated by the yellow circles in the photo. In the thermal image, captured on December 16th, it is clear that the lake water is still considerably warm and appears not to have changed much since the last time I presented a thermal image in the report. Finally, bringing this final edition of the Watch Report for 2020 to an end, I have one more image to show you. This photo was taken on December 16th, capturing a recent view of the crater lake. It is an excellent wide angle showing that most of the water that day was a tan to darker brown color. That concludes the Hawaii Volcano Watch Report for December 2020. Thank you for watching and have an exceptional morning, afternoon, or evening.